Welcome to the Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. This is episode 45. We're hanging out with Will from Carter's Retro Quest. What is up, buddy?
Nothing much. Living the resale life on YouTube.
Living the resale life. That's awesome.
That's
Well,
it.
as I said, it's episode 45, Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. I forgot our intro. This is your home for reselling, wrestling, and real good times. And we have hit 1K again.
Yeah.
So
if it holds, we might be doing a celebration. We'll see how it goes.
We'll let it hang out for a few weeks. Yeah. Make sure it stays at 1K.
Yeah. Maybe get to 1,010 first,
Yeah, get a safety net right
there. Yeah.
All right. So, guys, if yous are not familiar with Will over at Carter's Retro Quest, he's a pretty new channel. Probably got, 10 or 15 videos out now or something like that. 20.
Maybe. I think 20. Somewhere around 20, I think. I don't really keep track.
Yeah, I know the other day my thing said you put out episode or your 25th upload. I was like, oh, I've done 25 on the old pass. I was like, that's pretty cool. I didn't know how many I had. But if you guys are not subscribed to Will, go check him out over at Carter's Retro Quest. We will link him in the description. Go subscribe to him. He's got a great channel. He's got a really nice setup. That shop of yours, man, that's
man.
It is a blessing compared to what we came from. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched the last video I put out, but that's what I talked about. That's kind of what has hindered my sales a little bit is we moved out of that little bitty garage with a ton of totes, where we had to spend one day taking pictures and one day doing cleaning and one day doing this and that to moving into this shop where it's just so easy to work that we blew through all that inventory. Sold it off, of course, and now it's like, we need something to sell, which is a good problem to have, I guess.
That's a very good problem to have.
So,
and that's what it comes down to.
I'm starting spring with empty totes to put stuff in. So
I keep thinking, okay, I'm gonna get everything listed. Death pile will be gone. I'll have 30, 40 totes, however many we got, 40 or something. I'll have all these totes to fill up, and by the time winter hits, I'll have 40 totes of all kinds of good stuff. Well, that I start to get there, I'm down to like 20, and then something happens and I don't get finished. So I end up having 20 totes going into the spring and then start all over. And if you do that a couple years in a row, you get to the point where you don't have nothing to start with. Like it's just your totes are full and you have nothing to put, nowhere to put anything. That's going to be my problem if I don't do better.
The only problem you run into with like we have right now, if you're listing crap, you're going to sell crap.
True.
That is what, I'm selling a lot of $10, $15 stuff that it's just, it's good to get it out of here. And I don't have anything in it. So, it's profit, but at the same time, it's like, well, you go pack up 10 orders to make, $100 when usually, a couple consoles in there and I do 4 or 5 shipments for a couple $100,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little weird doing that, but it's money and it's profit. So,
right.
Speaking of consoles, I'll let me say this and then Josh take off. You've got to be one of the most, probably from what I've noticed, probably one of the most knowledgeable about your consoles. As I watch you do it, it's like, this guy's good.
I take pride in them. I love keeping them out of the landfill. And the way I have to work, one of those consoles could take me a week. Because I'm, if you're soldering or whatever, I may not be able to solder on it, just sit down and solder for an hour. So, cleaning it, repairing it, sometimes I've got a week, sometimes more in one of those consoles when it goes out. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of them. And I take the inside pictures, the outside pictures, I want somebody when they buy it, I can't use the word, refurbished on eBay because I'm not approved to.
Right.
I want a customer to look at those pictures and say, man, this thing is clean and legit.
Yeah, like best it could be. Yeah.
And I get a little bit more for them for that too. So
absolutely.
And I think you earn what you get because they look good when they go out.
Yeah.
Right, Josh,
I appreciate it.
I'll quit cutting you off now, Josh.
Oh no, you're good, man. I was just going to say, talking about the small things. I totally get what you're saying, because it's nice to have just a few sales that go out for bigger money and kind of make your money on those sales. But I tell you, one of the biggest keys is just making sure you got stuff that sells. I mean, that's always the blessing. Feeding the monster, that's how you get it done. I mean, even if it's small stuff, as long as it's stuff that sells. I don't want to sell something for $10 that takes, an hour to clean, an hour to take pictures, you know what I mean? An hour to describe it. If you're going to sell that stuff, you want it to be easy stuff to process. Sometimes that's what keeps things going. So
right now, a lot of ours is media.
Right.
I bought out a collection last summer of this gentleman posted a collection of DVDs on Facebook, and he was like, somebody come buy these, I want to get rid of them. So I went over. When he said there was over 1,000, I was kind of expecting them to be like bootleg movies or something.
Right.
Because he just had a picture of totes. And when I got over there, they were all like new condition. Like they looked like they've been opened up, watched once, put back in the case, and set on a shelf. They look like new. And he goes, there's over 1,000 and they're all alphabetized.
Oh man, that's nice.
And I was like, well, what do you want for them? And he said, we're moving to Florida on Thursday. And he's like, I've got to get this was on a Monday, I believe. He's like, I need them out of here for, room. And I was like, well, what do you want? And he's like, I'll take $100 for them. So sweet. I was like, absolutely. Because at that point I've got 10 to 20 cents in them, if that. So it's like, I don't like selling movies, but when I don't have anything in them, I'll sell them. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, you can't not make money like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I lot them up in like blocks of 10 action movies, throw them out there for like $10. But now we have a sale on, so it's like $8 a set, but I don't care if they're selling, they're selling.
Right.
I was about to say too, Yen's talking about feeding the monster and listing and all that. I'll tell you how to sell stuff. If you don't want to ever list, just turn on a 30% sale, crank up the promotions, and it'll still sell. You're giving it away, but it'll go,
Yeah, well, we were doing 20, 15, and 10, off certain tiers.
Yeah.
And the 20% was a huge deal. Like I said, we're selling stuff that we don't at this point have nothing in. So I'm glad to see it go.
Well, I'm obviously kidding about giving it away. I mean, I should say there's a few items when they hit 30%, I did come pretty close to giving them away, but it was all intentional. I'm trying to clear out as much as possible. Obviously you guys know we're moving, so I want to move a lot. I don't want to move heavy. Like I told Tanya the other day, I said, I would love to be under 1,000 listings when we move. Right now I'm at like 1410. So I started, and another way to help is just delete stuff. That helps. But I started at like 1,900, 200 got deleted. So I've sold 300 items without listing a single, well, I don't say a single thing, but I've listed like 30 or 40 items in this whole time frame, probably 2 or 3 days out of 30. And it's still just kicking right along. So I can't complain about my sales whatsoever. I should not have very good sales right now, but the 30% off thing, I want to move it, like get it out and make it a little bit easier to move when we get moved. But it's.
See, when we moved into the shop, I didn't have that option to thin down before because this kind of fell in our lap. So I think I had 162 totes to bring over here loaded. And I'm like, I can't do this. What am I going to do? So I put an ad on Facebook and I was like, hey, I just need somebody to pack these totes, move them, on a trailer or whatever you got to a different location here in town. And a guy contacted me and come and looked at it. And he said, yeah, I'll do it for $200. And I'm like,
man, what a deal.
I'm like, you're absolutely on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. They were great. I mean, they loaded it up and they took care of it too. I mean, it wasn't like they just threw it in the bed of a truck. They took care of it, put it where I wanted it. I ended up paying them more than $200 just because I felt like they deserved it. You know, they earned it.
Yeah.
So
That's a better profit margin than hay bales.
yes.
Do you have their number and do they travel?
I don't think their truck would make it.
Oh man.
Because that would be such a deal. I would do that in a heartbeat.
But that's a good way. It's a good idea, though. And him saying that, you might consider that yourself. Just kind of throw an ad out there and see what kind of response you get. You don't have to.
I got a little army of kids I'm fixing to put to work too. So
I made it easy for them. I had it, I had all the totes stacked up, and my shelves were already down and everything. So I mean, all they literally had to do was back their trailer up to my garage, put it on the trailer, bring it over here, and this has 2 big overhead doors. So I mean, they just backed the trailer right up to it, and it was easy for them. And they thought that $200 they were really getting me. They were shocked when I gave them more money.
Oh, but yeah.
To me, it was absolutely worth it.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. You're describing with your shop there, you're describing like my dream shop. Me and Tanya have been talking about our future goal. Like, when we get settled in, Josh built my dream shop over there, and you're talking about my dream shop. But that roll-up door, that is such a great idea, because like what me and Tanya do, we just go crazy sometimes. We might be at a yard sale, and I remember one yard sale we was at, we spent $700 on Christmas items. We spent $600 on coins and $100 on DVDs. We bought almost the entire yard sale. And it was like, I'm going to have to go home, come back. And that's how we operate. Like, if there's a deal to be made, we're going to make it because I know the potential profits in these deals. So it's like, buy it, because $700 is gone for a little while. You're investing. So that roll-up door would be so nice. Like, just back in, sit your totes out. If you don't feel like putting stuff up, sit them down. Go in the house, rest, come back when you feel like it, work on it. That is like I think that is like, to me, one of my number one priorities on a new shop.
Oh yeah, definitely. Roll-up door on it. Especially when you're starting from scratch, you can do whatever you want.
Yep. I'm going to take a little time and design. That way, when Josh's is done, I can be like, look here, boy, I look better than you. No,
let me make a suggestion. If you're going to have one done for you, just a thought here. Think about the width, because I know you said something about doing 28, but think about your width and leaving a part of it open. If you could leave one side where you could have a roll-up door on each end where you could just drive through.
Oh man.
I mean, you talk about easy. I was thinking about that as I was moving some stuff, out of the house, getting ready for Easter, trying to start shifting our items out there. And mine's kind of lined up, but on one side, I don't have the concrete fixed yet to drive into it. But I was thinking, man, this would be so nice if I could just pull straight through right now instead of having to just back up and pull up,
Well, I mean, that is
anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
just go right in.
Yeah. We go to the yearly thing in Nashville, and we take the trailer, and sometimes you'll have 15, 20 totes in there. You may be like smack wore out and not feel like doing nothing when you get back. Just drive in, leave your truck and trailer if you don't feel like doing nothing. Or if you just need the vehicle, unhook it, leave the trailer, and go back out, and do it when you feel like it. But I mean, that's a great idea.
I was thinking the same thing like with the storage unit. If you decided to do something like that, it's the amount of work you have to do all at one time. But if you could just pull in and drop a trailer, or pull in and just cut it off and go back the next day after having to do a clean out, I mean, that would be so much nicer. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. And I'm looking forward to, I just don't know what kind of timeline to give anybody on anything. 'Cause once we get moved and I can start laying out my vision in my head and doing some sketching, and then I can say, hey, I may do this, I may do that, but I want to take enough time that everything that needs to be thought of can kind of be thought of, because
Right.
if you're like me, when we did this shop, it's like, man, I wish I would have run Ethernet in the walls. That way I could have a couple of ports and not have to depend on Wi-Fi. And I wish I would have done this, and I wish I would have done that. So there's more things now in my mind that if I do another shed or shop or whatever, I've got this already in mind. Like, okay, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. So yeah, it's the door though. Like I'm totally going to do the door thing.
Yeah.
That new place you're going to though, the scenery looks so nice.
Oh man,
You've got to take that into mind.
I know.
This is my favorite place to sit and watch the sunset. And I don't want to see my shop right in the middle of it.
You sound like my wife.
Oh,
I'm just saying. I mean, you work that hard to get it and to have it. You don't want to mess it up.
Look, here where I'm at, when you sit on the front porch, you can see the sunrise. Used to, you couldn't, but it's just a little bit of timber there that was in a little narrow neck next to the road. We had that cut. I got someone to come out with a mulching head and kind of clean it up. And then I started bush hogging it. And there's a nice area out there. And that's where I thought it would be a nice place for a shop, And I thought that'd be like the ideal spot. It's out of the yard. It's not, it's close to the house, but not just right on us. And then my wife's like, "You're not going to build anything out there, are you? I mean, that'd block my sunrise in the mornings."
Yeah.
Your sunrise? How many times? So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. And it is awesome to see that. But I'm more of a sunset guy, so the sunset's fine out the back, So, but you definitely got to think about those things.
I don't have to worry about it. I have to drive 1.5 miles to the shop. So that's one thing. When I moved over here, it was like, it was so nice just to walk out to the garage and pack or whatever. And it kind of gives you the feeling, which we already, I mean, this is work. This is a job.
Right.
But when you have a separate location for it, then it really makes it feel like, oh, I got to get up and go to work.
Yeah.
That's a drag of having someplace away from your home. But we had outgrown it. I mean, we didn't have any choice. It was either stay small or, get into something bigger.
I'm actually looking forward to the idea of being able to walk out of the house to a degree and be separated from the other things that distract me. Because when I'm in here, I'll be in the middle of working and I'll walk by something that needs to be done in the house. And it just, I'm bad to let it pull me away, because I remember, oh man, I needed to get this done. And then there I lose 30 or 45 minutes or sometimes an hour. And then I beat myself up, because then I'm getting to the end of the day and I'm like, I didn't get everything done, business wise that I should have gotten done, but it's because I let myself get distracted. And so learning to treat it like a job, you don't want it to feel like too much like work. I know, because it's want it to be fun. That's one of the reasons we do it. But you also, man, it's a fine balance too, making sure you still treat it like a job.
It was easier for me at home just because of health, that, if I got tired, I could go in, sit down, or whatever. I find myself a lot of times over here because, I mean, a lot of times the girls do things, and like I said, the YouTube stuff and the video game stuff's kind of my thing. But I come over, like yesterday, I was over here and it's like, I really don't have anything major to do. So it was playing with retro and watching TV, so it was, there was things I could do, but it was like, it's Easter Sunday, and I'm just going to go back home and chill with the girls and, do some stuff. So
I understand.
Did the packing, got it out. So,
well, let's do a little meetup talk, boys. What do you think?
All right, let's go for it.
It is, it's getting close. This is crazy. It's already April. Like,
it is
April. I remember when I first started thinking, and when I first started talking to you, Josh, about this, it was February?
Yeah, I believe so.
Sometime in February. Mm-hmm. So now February's gone. March is gone. Mm-hmm. It's April 1st at the time of recording this. And so April, May, June, July, 4 months and 2 days, and it will be meetup time on the Plateau. So that being said, if you haven't heard or you're not aware, August 2nd, 2024 will be the second annual Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast presents the Highway 127 Pickin the Plateau reseller event. And I say event because this is more than just a meetup. We're going to have tons of food, like tons of food, all kinds of food. And we have a meet and greet from 4 to 6. And then we have our main event from 6 till about 9 o'clock, somewhere in there. We have some free time from 9 to 10 while we clean up. The bowling tournament, which is being taken care of by the Locker Room Podcast guys, the Reseller Locker Room Podcast. They're also our co-host. Tickets are $25. So $25 gets your food, gets your time at the meet and greet, your time at the main event. Everything other than the bowling tournament. Ben, the Rocky Top Picker, is taking care of that stuff. So if you're interested in that, contact him. I don't know what he's found out on pricing or anything like that. I know there will be something. He'll have all that information. But man, I'm getting really excited. We're just so overloaded with stuff right now, but I still keep thinking about this meetup, and I'm like, I can't wait. I'm just so excited. I'm like a little kid. I'm just over here like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. It is amazing how fast. I know I've said this before. Amazing how fast the time flies by. But things are coming together, though. I mean, I feel like, planned wise, Caleb's great, by the way. Those that aren't familiar with him, as far as being organized, seeing things out ahead, and just pre-planning to try to eliminate problems down the road. But we've got a lot of things in the works still that we're going to be talking about. I mean, we're hopefully going to have some merchandise pretty soon. We've been working on that, and we'll tell more about that when we kind of get it sealed up. But we got a lot of things in the works. I'm kind of excited to have some of those things unveiled as we get closer to the event, and be able to get going on those things too. So,
you know what we got to do that I forgot?
What's that?
We got to talk to Nathaniel over at Lucky 7. I have totally forgot that we were supposed to talk to him, because he's going to help us format our live auction, figure out, hey, this would be the best bet, because there's all these time restrictions on this event, and we want to do as much as we possibly can, have as good a time as we possibly can. So yes, we are having a live auction that will benefit charity. We're finalizing all that stuff, and Nathaniel at Lucky 7 Auction is the auctioneer for that. Tickets are on sale. That will all be down below. Also, after you subscribe to Will at Carter's Retro Quest, you can go down, buy your ticket then. And I promise $25. In this town, $25 would get you a decent meal at a decent restaurant. You're going to get better food and better quality time with people that you want to be around for what you would have ate supper for that night. So, I mean, we tried to make it as cheap as possible because, like me and Josh have talked, Will, we've just talked about, like, we're not trying to necessarily make any money. We're just trying to put on the very best event we possibly can. And we'll be announcing, I guess, sometime in the future. I don't know. We might announce some of the stuff we're going to give away. I don't know. But we're going to try to do quite a few giveaways too. And, all that money is going to go towards helping with all that. And we got the sponsor packages and the supporter packages. If anybody's interested, that'll all be down on the Eventbrite page. It'll tell you about that. If anybody's interested, you can reach out to us about that. But yeah, we're looking forward to this. This thing's coming up quick. I think I was telling you the other day, Josh, I think there's already about 50 people between the paid tickets and the people that we know are coming, between the co-hosts and us and our families, and all the tickets that are sold, right at 50 people right now. So 50 people at 4 months away, I feel pretty confident this is going to be a really good event.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going to move away from that just for a second, but you mentioned the giveaways, and I'm not going to give too much away, but I'll say this. Like, one of the things I'm working on is, and this, I just thought this is good because we talk about food so much, is some food related stuff. Some of the local manufacturers in my area. We have a couple of homegrown companies that have been around for a very long time in my county. That's in the county seat town. I live in the middle of nowhere out in the country, and my little town is like, maybe 1,500 people, but Fayette, which is also very small. We have Golden Eagle brand, which is like table syrup. They do pecan pies. They've had their own recipe for pecan pies on the back of the syrup jar for years. I mean, the company's been around close to 100 years now, I think, or maybe right at 100 years. And but anyway, it's like a table syrup that's everybody around here has always known. You know, you eat it on a hot biscuit with some butter or something like that. It's just really good stuff. And but they do pecan pies. They do like their own caramel corn in house now. They got a lot of different things like that. And then we also have a place called Alabama Sunshine that's there in Fett, and they make a wide range of so they're well known for their one of their hot sauces, which is like a habanero blend, but also they do a white barbecue sauce that they're very well known for. So they've got a lot of products. So it's all kind of in that wheelhouse of sauces and stuff like that. And you'll find them. You find them pretty much everywhere, you know, around here, of course, you know, the stores and the surrounding counties. But even we'll see how things go. Like everybody's probably familiar with Wickles, you know, Wickles Pickles. And that's an Alabama company as well. If you're not, you should look at Walmart shelf and see if you can find them.
Wickles like pickles.
Wickles. Hot spicy pickles. Hot spicy dill, hot spicy sweet pickles. Really good stuff. Of course, they got pickled okra, pickled vegetables, all kinds of stuff. Chow, relish. You know, it's so just some good local brands though that I'm going to try our best. It may not be where we can give everybody something. It might just be some giveaway bags, but you know, food related anyway. You know,
who don't like food? I mean, you know,
yeah. I mean, that's the point. You know, so
we should have a whole segment just about food here. You know, just
white sauce on some smoked chicken is.
Oh man,
that's some good stuff.
It's very good stuff.
You talking about pecan pie? That's like one of my favorite things in the world.
Really?
Oh my gosh, I love pecan pie. Love it.
That is a big fight in our house though, because Amy says it's pecan. It's like, no, it's pecan.
It's pecan.
I don't care as long as it's got them in it.
Yeah.
Just give me a slice.
Call it what you want. Who cares?
I don't care.
I'll eat it. You talk about it. It's okay.
That's it.
All right. So guys, go check that out. Come see us at the 127 meetup. We're looking forward to that. And you can pile drive Josh for free. He'll be in the corner.
If you can pick me up.
Right on the concrete. Yeah. Hey, if the OBX picker shows up, he's pile driving you. He's a big old boy too. He fit right in with us.
That's good.
Actually, I ain't seen him in a while. He was on diet. I don't know if he still is big. I'm talking like broad. He was a big broad guy. He kind of scared me a little bit last year. He walked up and I made fun of him. I called him he looked like a pirate, a Viking or whatever. And I was like, please don't hurt me. Yeah, but we're looking forward to that for sure. That is going to be here before you know it. Like, just don't know.
It seems like just the other day you guys were saying it was 6 months out, and now it's
a
little over 4.
We'll turn around. It'll be a month away, and then we'll be all like, hey, are we ready for this? No. You know, it's time to get scared.
We're going to be ready.
We'll be ready or not.
That's it.
So I have some interesting – I'll share a little bit of what happened. So I talked about this the other day. I think maybe we talked about it last week, Josh. I don't remember, on the offsite ads thing I tried.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so far behind. Like you have to wait 4 or 5 days to get a good read on what it's doing. And this thing is like volatile. It's like the stock market. The graph is just up and down everywhere. But it's starting to pay off a little bit better. I've got a 2.42 conversion rate to spend rate. You know, like what I've spent has brought me that back. So I've spent $65 now and made $212. So it's getting better. It's still not super, super great. It's not something I would say go out there and turn on offsite ads at $20 a day. I don't know that I would do that. But 65 to make 212 it's going in the right direction. You know, the other day I'd spent 40 and made like 100. That was definitely not worth it. But now I've tripled, a little bit better than tripled my spend. I've sold 11 items. I've got 455 clicks. One thing I like about the way you can look at this summary on your advertising dashboard under offsite ads, it will show you what you spent that day on offsite ads and what you made that day. So like March 16th, I spent $4.93, but I made $45.14. Now that I would call fine. I would leave that alone if that was what I was going to get on a daily basis. The next day, or a couple days later, March 17th, I spent $8.76 and I got $0 in sales. So that's just, it's such a weird thing. But then you go out March 29th. I had zero spend that day. There was no money spent, yet I made $86 in sales off of the offsite ads. So it's a very strange, the algorithm behind the offsite ads is kind of odd.
Well, I wonder on that if what happened is people that clicked in previous days,
They came
because you
back.
pay for the click, right?
Back, yeah.
But maybe they added themselves as a watcher, or like you said, they went back and searched up that exact item, but it still gets credited to the offsite ad because that's what originally brought them to your store or to your item.
Kind of
I
like
will say that's probably true because I've picked up like 40 store followers since I started it.
The other question I'm curious about, I don't know if you know this or not, on when the sale is credited to the offsite ad, is eBay still charging the promotion fee on the same item?
Yeah, that'd be good to know.
Because you can only cut your profit out so many times. You know what I mean?
Yep.
To me, it kind of depends on what you like. There's no way I would pay to offsite ad what I have in the store right now.
Right.
I don't have the items nice enough to do it. But if I was loaded up with consoles, I might consider it. At $100 a sell. That's unless it's a Sega or something. But I mean, if I had the consoles and stuff in stock, that $8 to sell a few of them a day, that'd be a good turnaround.
Sorry. How in the world? I got my phone on Do Not Disturb and it's ringing over here. What is that?
I think for me, and this is something I was thinking about in regards to those, and I haven't tried any of this yet, but like as we're approaching this garage sale season, if we run into something really excellent that we can get in large quantity, I could see how that could be something specifically geared toward maybe the offsite ad, if it's something we know will move if the eyes get on it, because then like if the profit margin is good, like you said, Will. I mean, it's got to have a good profit margin. But the problem is you can't just say, I know some people probably will say, well, it only cost this much for that click, and that click generated the sale. But you've got to spread out the cost of every click that didn't make a sale as well over the items that do. So, I mean, which I know is what Caleb is looking at when he's talking about the overall numbers. So that's what always gets back in my mind again is, if you're having to pay the promotion, you've already run a sale and you've got the offsite ad cost. Well, if you're selling an item for, say, $30 and only 40% of that was going to be profit, or say 60% was going to be profit without any sale, without any promotion, without any offsite ad. Well, at $40, that'd be a $24 profit, right? Margin that you got built in. And so I don't know if y'all factor in cost of goods at that point already, or if you subtract it after. Say cost of goods and everything is factored into that. But say so $24. Well, then you pay your promotion fees, your factor in your sale that you're running, factor in the offsite ad portion that you assign to that item. What's the actual profit going to be on a per item basis? Because we're not Walmart, so we can't work off of super thin margins and just sell 500,000 items, to make our money. So that's where I get nervous about stacking too many things on top of each other for the same item. So
if we all had Caleb's spoons,
it
wouldn't be an issue.
That's right. Well, you won't even have to promote those, they'll just sell.
Them things are nuts, man. I don't know. Sold 2 this weekend. Of course, they're on sale, but on sale, they're still $14 and $15 spoons, like the singles. They were 20 something, I don't know, or right at 20. But like, who gives $15 for a spoon? Like, I'm going to Walmart, or actually I'm going to a yard sale first. But if I can't find any, then I'll go to Walmart and buy the whole kit and caboodle for $30 or $40, and I'm done. I'm not going to be like cherry picking. But I was talking to Scott, Trading Post Pickers. I said, why do people do that? He said his answer is, I ain't worried about it. Like, I'm just glad there are people out there that will buy them. I'm like, that's true. I'm glad there's people out there that will.
Look, I'm telling you, somebody has to make this T-shirt. I'm not selling. I mean, I've got some silverware that I need to go through, but I'm not a silverware guy yet. But somebody that's really putting, whether it's the Trading Post Pickers or someone, they need a shirt with their logo on the front pocket, and then on the back they need 2 spoons. They need eyes and a mouth and stick figure arms and legs on them, and one side to the other. Spoon me, baby. That's a money shirt. I promise you, that is a money shirt for pickers. Pickers would love wearing that shirt out picking. They would love it.
No doubt.
I mean, that would be an awesome T-shirt. Maybe we need to do that one. But
maybe quit giving away all our designs.
Well,
okay?
That's something I can do. I can put 2 old guys on the front and put that on the back. But that would be an awesome T-shirt, man. I'd love that.
Yeah, that's your new slogan for this show. Spoon me, baby. You just got to throw it out there randomly. We're talking and you just, hey, spoon me, baby.
Yeah, that's it.
just here and there. Well, now that we're past the awkward stage of the podcast, we can move on.
I thought that made it the awkward stage right there.
Yeah, I think
I'm just saying, that would be a hilarious shirt, though. That'd be
be great. Fun. It would be great.
Fun. And it, without being inappropriate, it's just funny. Funny.
It's good stuff. All right. So you guys hear, I'm sure you've heard about all the stuff going on with Mercari.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't sell on Mercari, so it means nothing to me. I don't cross list. I've thought about it in the past, but I have never cross listed. But that seems like, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on Mercari because I'm not, but that seems like a couple things to me, like a pretty big deal for a seller and a pretty big risk for the platform to take away all fees. There's got to be another gimmick. And I know they're going to charge a buyer fee. That, to me, that's the risk, because like we was talking before the show, if this was Amazon or Walmart or eBay, the big established platforms, I could see that making people mad initially.
Right.
But then they're going to get over it, and they're going to keep using Amazon. They're going to keep buying at Walmart. Mercari is not Walmart. Mercari is not Amazon. They took a pretty big risk, and I'm curious to see how that goes for them.
Yeah. I'm interested to see when some of the people that do cross list everything kind of, there were some initial reviews and some initial responses on how it affected sales. But the thing is, that only applied to items that were listed on that date. Like it was, so all the old stuff was not grandfathered into that. All the old stuff stayed on the old system. So unless they end it and relist the old stuff, again, then it's still under the part where the seller pays the fees. So everything listed from that date forward is what actually the fee, system was changed on. And so it's going to take a little bit to really, and maybe that being the case for the buyers, maybe since there's going to be a pretty light mix of that stuff to begin with, maybe they'll be able to kind of ease it in and they'll kind of adjust to it slowly over time. I mean, because you got to think about all the tens of thousands or however many items are already on there that people are not going to bother relisting in order to change the fee scale on. And then as they're slowly listing new inventory, it just gets mixed in, 10 items with my other 1,000 items, 50 items with my other 1,000 items here and there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how that works out when they start talking about how their sales are impacted.
It is going to be interesting to see for sure. So, Will, do you have anything you want to add on that before we move forward?
Not like we spoke earlier. I list perfectly. I tried that out and I listed on everything on Mercari and clothing and stuff on Poshmark, and we still do sell some clothing on Poshmark, but I wasn't selling enough on Mercari to, keep up with everything. I don't guess I have the right stuff for Mercari or whatever. I was posting games and I would get comments and really lowball offers. Yeah. But that was about it. So, I think it's too hard to search for a certain game or stuff on there. It's easier on eBay.
eBay is king, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Last week
is king. All right. So how about we move on to one of my newest and most favoritist, I'm sure I'm saying that right, parts of this show, and that would be This Week in Wrestling History.
All right.
Wrestling history.
Wrestling history.
Wrestling history.
Say it right. Wrestling history. All right, Josh, hit us with some history this week.
All right.
Will can share his knowledge of all this.
He can really flesh it out because he knows a lot about wrestling. Guy's a encyclopedia on it, buddy. So all these things deal with WrestleMania because, as we know, this is the time of year that WrestleMania is normally held. And so, it's not always the same exact day, date-wise, but during these last, these couple of weeks is a lot of WrestleMania stuff. So WrestleMania 2 in 1986, that was when Mr. T went up against Roddy Piper, and it was a boxing match. It was a win by disqualification for Mr. T because he got body slammed. So anyway, that was just an interesting match, I think, just the fact that Mr. T was involved. And then 1990, that was WrestleMania 6. That was when the Ultimate Warrior defeated Hogan for the title. And also it was the last match that Andre the Giant wrestled at WrestleMania. And Will, tell us about that one. You remembered it pretty well.
Oh, yeah. It was Heenan turned on Andre after the match because he thought he cost him the titles or whatever. Demolition was who they were facing in that. But yeah, he slapped Andre, which was a huge mistake. But it was kind of, I remember watching it. I watched it the next day. Someone had taped the pay-per-view and I watched it, and I was kind of sad because I could tell that he was winding down. He spent a lot of the time in that match tied up in the ropes. And it just, you could tell, and it was kind of sad, but when he turned at the end of it and went, turned face or whatever, I'd watched him so long as a good guy. It was good to see him, go out that way too. So I was happy with it. I loved it.
That's the one where literally you can see Andre when he grabs Heenan and he's slapping him, you can see him totally miss him.
Yeah.
He draws back and he's like that far away from his face. It's great.
Oh, man. Could you imagine that meat hook coming at you, though?
Oh, no.
His hand was bigger than most people's face anyway. Good Lord, man.
I don't care if you miss or not. Just swinging at me is going to be pretty scary.
Yeah, the air off that's probably enough.
Oh,
yeah. I watched the. I don't know. Have y'all watched the documentary about him? You can look it up on YouTube. And man, his body. I mean, there's so many cool facts. I mean, the guy was fascinating. From the, just insane amounts of alcohol he would consume and still function. All the way just to the way his body, just how his body was breaking down at the end, and him still trying to power through it. I mean, it is like you said, it's sad. But I mean, even the stories about, trying to fly, trying to be comfortable, like his life, man, was so challenging, especially for the time period that he was so famous in, because today I think probably we're more adapted to accommodate people of larger sizes like that. I know he was extraordinarily large, but there's people, I mean, look at the NBA. There's a lot of people that are 6'10" to 7 foot tall now. And everything has kind of naturally slid that direction more so than what it was. But you put him back in that time frame, man. I mean, the world was not built for a man his size during that time frame. But so our last one was WrestleMania 30, 2014. The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania was ended by Brock Lesnar. This was not something I don't think a lot of people are real happy about.
No,
they chose him to do it, but at 21-0, it come to an end, and Lesnar got the juice for that. So
yeah, you could tell watching that, the crowd reaction. They're like, they messed up. He didn't. Like you could just tell they're like, no, because nobody. I mean, after 21 victories, nobody expects him to lose.
No,
and he's the Undertaker. Who's going to beat you after 20 victories in a row? Like, no.
Well, we talked about his final match last week, and him riding off into the sunset. I mean, the ultimate way for him to finish WrestleMania at that point, it was just a couple years away, just a few years down the road. We're talking about 6 years before his last WrestleMania, I think. So, if you put that in perspective, that's just a few matches. A streak like that, why would you not want that to kind of go down in the storyline of wrestling, history? That would just be awesome. So,
oh yeah. Well,
you can unwrite it once it's written,
No, and Brock Lesnar was already a made man.
Yeah.
I don't know that it really done anything for Brock. I mean, it made him the guy that beat the Undertaker. It did do that, but like Brock didn't really need that. and I don't know who else really could have pulled it off at that time. I mean, there might have been a few people, but, and like when Roman Reigns beat him, however many years ago it was, when Roman and The Undertaker wrestled at Mania, and, everybody was booing Roman Reigns like forever because of that. It's like nobody wanted to see The Undertaker lose at that point. It wasn't heel heat. It was, we don't like this kind of stuff. That it was a bad idea. But yeah, you brought up WrestleMania 2. And I remember, now I was born in 83, and I think the first WrestleMania was in 83 or 84, right? One of those years.
4, I think.
84.
I think it's 84.
So I obviously don't remember this happening live, but I remember watching it back later. WrestleMania 2 was like a nightmare, trying to do those 3 venues around the country and simulcast it. And here's this event over here. And how do you keep the crowd happy at another venue while there's a match going on at the other one? I don't get that. That was probably a logistical nightmare.
I will say this, the way things are today, as big as the company has gotten, WWE, if they were going to, and with the technology that we have, if they were going to try to pull something like that off, they'd have a much better shot today than they did nowadays. I mean, they do multiple nights anyway, so doing multiple locations. If they alternated the matches and had a true live stream at every other location for the ones that weren't there, and had a true main event, a significant main event that they could host at each site, I think money wise for ticket sales, they probably would draw a lot more that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, the technology is in place to probably do it, but then, I mean, the technology wasn't there.
No. I think that's why they only did that one time. So
yeah, try and fail, move on.
Yeah. Right.
So I got 2 questions while we're here. I don't know as much about modern day wrestling as I do old stuff, but I look at Cody Rhodes and I see this guy just looking at, and I don't know enough about him to really know whether or not, in my opinion's valid or not. And then I look at a guy like Roman Reigns, and the projection is Cody Rhodes is going to beat Roman Reigns for the title or whatever. And I'm like, I just don't know if I see it. Like,
I'm
believability.
the same way. I feel that way because it's just so predictable.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think you're going to get that big swerve and Roman's going to win somehow.
He may do it.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not there because that crowd's going to go crazy.
Yeah. Talk about a rabid crowd. Oh my God.
I mean, you're going to get to see Cody cry in the middle of the ring holding his belt.
And then what?
Yeah.
And it's all about the storyline, right? So the best way to set up the story for the next pay-per-view is to allow Roman to win it. I mean, because then I'm saying if you want to make the rematch really, really meaningful, that's probably the way to do it. I mean, that's just because like I said, it's going to make people so mad. It's going to make everybody's going to be vested even more so.
Are you going to get Roman to do 2 pay-per-views in a row?
Yeah, true.
I forgot he even wrestled, honestly, but I mean,
I think it's like 5 times a year now. That's about it.
Yep.
I think they're creating them like museum pieces. They want to be able to wrestle when they're 75.
I think if it was me at this point, Roman Reigns is however many years he's had it, and he's like 200 or 300 days or 400, whatever it is, away from Hogan's record. I'm breaking that record. I'm going to push him on out another year. Because I come from, my mindset is, okay, it wasn't people like Cody Rhodes that beat people like Roman Reigns. And I'm not trying to sound biased or anything, but the look and the feel of your character matters. When Cody Rhodes shows up in the ring in a suit, acting like, all that, and I see Roman Reigns walk out looking like a killer, it's like, I don't buy it. I mean, there has to be a little bit of realism here. Like, I know it's a show. I know it's for fun, but you take a guy like Hogan and you take a guy like the Warrior, who we was talking about a minute ago, those guys looked similar.
Yeah.
They was both intense. They were both powerhouses. You can see that going either way. Cody Rhodes looks like he's going to get broken in half, though.
That's because we're from a different time where wrestlers were big,
Yep.
bigger than life, characters where
Mhm.
today, they're 150 pounds and doing, flips and all that stuff. That some of those moves I absolutely hate. So the Spanish fly,
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
just do this flip together, and it's like, what damage is that supposed to cause?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to hurt both guys the same. It looks
It's like I
exactly
just don't
the same.
see that.
Yeah.
It's too choreographed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
if we're gonna imagine a leg of destruction, let's just let it be. If we're gonna have to make something that shouldn't be believable,
yeah,
at least make it dramatic. I mean, to me, there's nothing dramatic about that. I mean,
No.
it's like you go back to Hogan, and whether someone likes him or doesn't like him during the Hulkamania heyday, you knew the order of events. You knew it was at some point it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Whenever he holds up, you knew exactly what was going to happen. There was going to be a big foot. There was, there was going to be a leg drop. You just knew. You knew when you saw it happening. I mean, that man, it jazzed the crowd up. Everybody was ready for it, and it wouldn't that having someone drop their leg on you was just wow, but it was the atmosphere it created. It was the whole chain of events, and that took years to build. That was years in the making.
Yeah.
And like you said, it makes that person seem larger than life because when they do it, it means something different. It don't have to be complex. It just has to be done the right way. Has to be sold right.
My favorite wrestler was Jake the Snake Roberts. That was
awesome.
my guy. And you think with the DDT, he hit that, it was over. Nobody kicked out. Nobody, nobody did anything. Now you see that move 5 times in one match.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, and it's different,
Right.
Well, there's something that if you ever listen to The Undertaker, he talks about it. Ring psychology, telling the story, building the match, making the moment.
Yep.
It's not. I mean, he talks about it and he says, I could teach somebody how to make a 30-year career, whereas these guys that are doing these flip things are going to make a 15-year career.
Right.
And I mean, he's right. He talks about that leg drop he would do on the ring apron, how he wishes he would have never started doing that because it just destroyed him. Every time he would hit, he would hurt for like a week.
Yeah.
And just psychology, knowing how to look like a killer, and because we all know it's choreographed. I mean, but make it look more believably choreographed. When you throw a punch, make it look like Vader, like taking their heads off.
If you've got to talk to your opponent's ear 10 seconds before you guys do this flip, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I remember being, we used to go to shows and stuff, and you got close enough, you'd hear them say, hit the corner or clothesline, or you'd hear them holler it. And it's like, man, I think I would talk about this a little bit before and go out there and have some sort of idea, not have to holler at each other the whole match. I mean, I understand calling the match, but make it a little bit more believable. But I'll tell you right now who I think I would have, and again, I don't know enough about him, but just by looks and the way he presents himself, this is the guy I would have take down Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he looks.
He had his chances. He does. To me, it's Gunter, or however you pronounce it.
He looks
they've built him as such a monster, and nobody can beat him. And that dude does wrestle every week on TV.
Yeah.
And he's faced some of the best, and he's good at it. I mean, he's they get a little out there, but that's today's wrestling. But
and that's what
I believe him. I believe he could beat Roman Reigns.
That's my issue. You said earlier about letting it ride until the streak is broken. The longest held title. I mean, I don't like that because of the way they do things. Like you said earlier, Will. I mean, they don't even wrestle. I mean, he barely has a match. He just runs the microphone and interferes in matches and creates drama. And there's no work. I mean, I don't even know how you're supposed to stay popular for that long when you don't put in the work. So. I don't think that honors that tradition very well at all. And I understand, they're probably managing health a lot better by limiting the number of matches more so these days, because even whether it's football, basketball, whatever, they study that more so. and they want the longevity to be there, and they don't want them to be broken down when they get to the end. I get that. But you got to wrestle more often than that. I mean, come on. You got to at least, I mean, to me anyway.
So you're saying I need to put in more work on this dad joke thing? Is that what you're saying? Like, just carrying this belt for 3 years is not honorable? Like, I need to actually be defending it more often? Or
I don't know. You look pretty tired.
Well, it's hard to carry this entire dad joke thing around.
Bless your heart. That weight on your shoulders. There's only one of the three of us here that actually has a belt on hand, so we'll see what happens in a minute.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Well, let's hit sell of the week, comment of the week, and then we'll get to our dad joke before we head out. And if you're just joining us and you've not listened to everything, make sure you subscribe to Will over at Carter's Retro Quest on YouTube. Got a great channel over there.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know about great, but I have a channel.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
good job, man.
All right, Josh, you got to sell the week. Will, you can get one if you want one too. I don't know if I even told you about that, but.
Well, let me do, I'm not trying to make it. Let me do two things, okay? I'm going to say one, my sale that sold for the most was just a purse. So, I mean, that's not something you like to talk about. So I sold a Coach purse that was still new with tags, and it sold for $128. And I think I gave like 20 for it. I got it at a yard sale. It was a good sale.
That is a pretty good sale.
The one I made the most money on was another music sale. I sold it's like a little small square box set of the Turtles. And it was their complete albums, and it was still sealed. And so I sold it for $100, and I only had like 25 cents in that. So, I mean, that was nearly all profit at minus the fees. So I had a few sales kind of in that range, $100 or so this week, but that one was my favorite. The Turtles probably is my favorite. And then Coach purse was the most valuable.
The Turtles is my favorite too. Love them.
Really?
When you was talking about the Turtles, I was thinking Ninja Turtles. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, I figured you were when I first said it. But it's Ninja Turtles British Invasion bands, yeah. So I've got all that British Invasion music from that music collection that I keep listing out of, and it's selling good. I mean,
that stuff is pretty wild.
Yeah. I've actually, out of that first big round of listing that I done, because it gets old listing media all the time.
It does.
So I listed all the box sets, all of the DVDs, and it was probably about 3 boxes, like copy paper size or banker boxes size, like full and rounded up a little bit. And I got it all in one box now out of those 3 boxes of stuff I listed. So I'm down to 1 box of it. So it's selling pretty good.
That is good. All right, I'll give you my sell of the week, and then if Will has one, he can hit us with that too. So I sold a Panasonic PV-DV102D mini digital video hybrid camcorder. It sold for $119.99. It would have sold for more, but the little strap, like you stick your hand up in between the strap, was flaking really bad. So the camera was good, but the strap was trash. But yeah, I've had a couple of cameras sell for like quite a bit of money this week. So I was happy with that sale for sure.
Yes,
Will, you got one?
My best sell of the week definitely had to be the PS2 that I shipped out. I'd picked that up to keep, actually, because it was in really good shape. But it was sitting around. We weren't playing it. So I decided what the hey and sold it. $89.99 plus shipping.
Gosh, that's pretty good.
Could have got more, but I didn't have a controller to put with it. I had a couple generics that we were using, and I keep them for testing. So I sold it as a console and cables, and then I did almost always throw a couple games in with my consoles. It's just a gift and a thank you for buying it from us. They always get a sticker and a game at least to go with it.
Wow, that's pretty
GameCube,
cool.
And then I can't keep enough GameCube games to go with GameCube consoles. But
right,
that's also my favorite because I mean that's my passion. I mean we sell everything.
Right.
We'll sell anything we can make money on almost. But video games is definitely our favorite thing. It's just they're getting harder and harder to find.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, guys, check out Will's got stickers.
Oh yeah, I got stickers.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
I've got a few. So anybody wants stickers, just drop it down there, and I'll look through the comments later, and I'll find it, Instagram me, whatever, and I'll send you some stickers.
I got a sticker from Mr. Ken Bill in the mail today from his first Whatnot show the other night. Him and his girlfriend Jill was having their first Whatnot show. That is natural, man. I bought a sticker from him, but I'm going to have to
get another clipboard.
Yeah, because that one's getting close to full.
Well, I want to collect stickers here, and I wanted to put them on my fridge, but because I stand at that workbench a lot, but I'm afraid if my fridge goes out, then I would lose my stickers.
Oh yeah.
We rent the building, so I don't want to put them on anything in the building.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, if we decide to move here or they sell this place or whatever, I don't want to lose all my sticker collection.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I'll just keep putting them on. I started with Chris OSP on my console cabinet, and I thought, I guess I'll just keep putting them there. So
right.
I done that exact thing. I've got some wrestlers up on the wall, stickers. I've got some stuff on my breaker boxes, stickers. And when I leave, I probably ain't going to be able to get them stickers off, So I'm probably going to lose. There's like 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Most of the stuff will come down, but I am going to lose some stickers in here. So the new owners are going to get some wrestling stickers when they come in, I guess. I don't know. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I said I had this other question. Yeah, very lucky getting wrestling stickers. Because we was talking about WrestleMania, and then we'll go on to our comment of the week. Real quick, what is your favorite WrestleMania moment? Will, you go first?
I'm going to have to say, I think it was 13, Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels.
Man, that was 14.
14.
Yeah, 13 was Stone Cold and Bret Hart in the submission match.
Stone Cold finally winning the title. That was one of my favorites.
Iconic, man.
Probably a tie with Warrior and Hogan.
Yeah,
because I don't know if you can see him, but I've got my Warriors up there. I was a big Warrior fan too. So, yeah. That's I'm older than you guys. I was born in 76.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Josh, what would be your favorite WrestleMania moment?
Oh man, I told you, growing up, probably a huge Hogan fan, mainly, as a kid, but I love Taker. So, we talked about this last week, and I think I'll just go with his last match. Him, just that. I know he still come back in the ring on the regular nights, but that last WrestleMania, I know it was all, the scripted part because of COVID, but just the riding off in the sunset, being on his chopper, just to see him like that, I think that's pretty cool. So, just like the Taker.
Oh yeah, it's a great moment. Mine, I'm really split between two. Shawn Michaels was one of my favorites back in the day. So when he fought Ric Flair in Ric Flair's retirement match, man, I was just all kinds of tore up because I like Ric Flair too. So it was like I don't want to see him go, but it's time. So that moment, but then also when The Undertaker retired Shawn Michaels, that was like the end of my childhood because Shawn Michaels was the guy, for a long time. And now he's done. And he stayed retired forever until he did that one match. And now he's retired again. And he's like, not doing nothing else, Yeah. So that would, those two, it's hard for me to pick one, but those two would be my favorite. Probably two.
He said a few times that he wishes he never did that one time.
Yeah, he has. Well, it was a nightmare. It wasn't. He did good, surprisingly good.
I think Triple H tore his pec muscle or something right at the beginning of it, or
you could see his pec muscle was like red the next day, like he destroyed it. And Triple H, man, you got to give him some credit. That dude has got to be one of the most legit tough dudes in the world because he has done that a couple of times.
Yeah,
when he tore his quad, he finished the match. The quad was tore completely off, and he finishes that match. It's like, who does that?
He doesn't get the credit he deserves when everybody starts talking about their Rushmores, and it's Austin, Rock, Hogan, and it's like, who were they facing?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of those was Triple H.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it's like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves sometimes. I know everybody wants to throw up, well, he was with, dating the boss's daughter or whatever.
Yeah. But he was
he
still
put
out
on
there
a show,
performing.
and
Yeah. He wasn't always dating her. I mean, there was a time before
Yeah.
that he was
Right.
still a big name even before that. So
right.
Well, when he told Jericho, put me in the walls of Jericho on this table after the quad was torn that night, like Jericho tells that story, he's like, he told me he just screwed up his leg somehow, but he said, put me in the walls anyway. And he's like, are you sure? He said, put me in the walls, and I'm like, that's nuts. But it takes like legitimate toughness to do that. Because I seen, you probably remember when Kevin Nash was in that match, he tore his quad. He tore his quad and he dropped like a sack of potatoes, man, just boom right there.
Yep.
And he didn't finish nothing. And that's not a slap against him. It's just,
Wow.
that's going to be bad. But
Yep.
Triple H just kept going. It's like he couldn't even walk and he finished that stuff. It's like, man, that's legit. You're a legit dude. Tough guy. All right. What about comment of the week, Josh? You got one?
I had our Los Angeles Kings, and I went with he was remarking on our 1K adventures. He said somehow we're under 1K. ... Did last week's dad jokes have something to do with it? So,
very likely. Very likely. So if we drop back down this week, we'll know why.
yeah. What you got, bud?
So I got Mary McCain. She said, hi, guys. The dad joke title match intro. That's awesome. LOL. Oh, boy. I don't think I can pick a winner from these. Ha ha, Caleb. Your house is beautiful. So happy for you getting your dream home. I ran into the other room and thought I heard my name and was like, what? So when I got back, I had to rewind. Apparently, the Two Old Guys podcast is on VHS now. Thanks for the comment. Shout out, Josh. I'm glad you guys could relate. She said, I took the day off to take my grandson's trampoline park yesterday. So old grandma was ready for some chilling with the old guys today. So we appreciate that, Mary. But by the way, I don't think I mentioned this, Josh. I counted last week all those comments. I'm pretty sure I beat you like 4-1. So, just saying.
Well, I haven't gone back and counted myself. I'm pretty sure you had more votes than I did. I don't know that I trust the way you count. So,
I mean, it's okay. I'm telling the truth this time. All right, we ready for a dad joke title match? Y'all just imagine Will is in the middle of this. This is a triple threat match too.
I told you guys are getting so heated. I don't even know that I want to be involved. At first, I was like, I'm coming to show these guys how to do it. Now I'm like, this is more entertaining than me taking the title.
No. Go watch his last video, man. He comes out on the offensive right from the start.
I
calls us.
Watch that. All right, you ready? Here is title match time, boys. All right, you ready to lose?
Yeah. It's probably going to be up to the crowd again. So,
all right.
You get a lot of sympathy votes. You admitted that yourself earlier. So,
I mean, tough guys got to sound tough, okay? All right.
They must feel bad about that. Did you get a haircut this week?
I did. I got most of it cut. They kind of messed it up. Yeah, you can.
I got a little aggressive in the front.
They got a little aggressive everywhere. You can.
They cut both of mine.
Both of you. Well, mine ain't got many more than both. It's getting gone. All right, you ready, Josh? Ready, Will? Yeah. I'll start us off. We'll start this off on the highest note possible with the champ dropping the bombs. All right,
go for it.
So, why did the pirate walk the plank? Insert Jeopardy music here.
Go ahead and tell us.
Yeah.
Because his dog was back on land.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why he walked the plank. Yeah, see? That is championship dad joke material. It was so horrible, yet so great.
See, that's the point. Are these? We talked about this earlier. Are they supposed to be bad because dad jokes are bad,
Yes.
or are they supposed to be bad funny? Because that, if we go by bad, I don't know if I could top Caleb.
You can't. That's the
I don't
whole
know.
thing.
I don't know. That was neither. I don't know if that even made, that was just
It was
neither.
just it exists in its own universe of not good.
You can pick them. That's why you keep winning, I guess.
I guess. All right, Josh, go ahead.
All right. So it's been kind of tough. I told my wife she should really try to start embracing her mistakes.
Did she give you a hug?
Yep.
The best hug I ever had. Can't figure out what the deal is, though. I mean,
Is it over?
oh,
Is that it?
He got it.
Yeah.
No,
See, I mean, I think that should be an automatic KO right there. Just pop, done.
Yeah, he feels that way every time.
Well, that's why this says still reigning
Look,
and defending dad joke champion.
yeah.
All right, Will, you got one, or are you just gonna?
I've got one. So
Let's hear it, buddy.
I went down to the beekeeper to buy 12 bees, and he said, "Yeah, I'll sell them to you." He counted them out. Well, he counted 13. I said, "Hey, you counted 13 instead of 12," and he said, "That's a freebie."
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's
like
pretty good. All right, so we'll leave it up to the crowd.
Oh, there's still hope that you go down. Still hope that you go down, Caleb.
Still hope. Hey, I'll run interference if I have to. All right, whatever we got to do. Chair shots. It don't matter.
Chair shots.
I'll throw a trash can lid. I don't care.
Bloodline's going to run in.
Bloodline's coming at you, boys. That's right. All right. Well, now that we got the worst segment of the show out of the way, anything else to add, guys, before we head out today?
No. It's been a blast, and I appreciate you all having me.
Oh, man, we've had
fun.
I was really looking forward to it and glad I was able to, and it's love it because it's different when you're filming. Talking to you guys is easy, When I'm filming a YouTube video, I always say I'm boring because I'm just talking to this camera and there's no feedback, no nothing. I've tried to get Amy to come over and at least just hold the camera,
Yeah.
But she won't even be my Tanya, Caleb. I mean, she's like,
oh man.
She's like, no. So
it's
hard.
That's tough right there.
But now she'll want to stand and stare at me while I do it. And it's like, no, I can't do that, because then I feel weird.
Yeah.
So, the other day I filmed that short. She had to go out in the car and wait for me to film it because I just couldn't do it.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wish Tanya would let me flip that camera around on her, man. She's just so shy.
If you don't notice, I almost comment every time.
I know.
Tanya time.
I know. I tell her all the time. I'm like, they want to see Tanya. They want to see Tanya. Yep. She's like, I'm like, okay.
As shy as I was to go on YouTube's, I mean, it took me years to build up to it because I've wanted to do this, for a long time. And finally just, like I said, the health things I got going, it's like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm doing this. So, I mean, if it's something she wants to do, she should do it. If
I don't know that you want, that's probably the problem. She don't want to.
But I told her, will never convince her.
Probably not. I said your fans are wanting you, though. You got to come talk to your fans, right?
She gives us that that tease every now and then of a dialogue or a statement or something.
Yeah.
And
one of these days, I'm going to have something reflective. I mean, there's been a couple times I've held up something that kind of had a reflection, but it was blurred.
Oh.
One of these days, I'm going to hold some up. I'm going to catch her, and I'm just going to be like, this is what sold, and be panning around showing her on it.
Well, the day she panned in on your socks, I almost fell out of this chair laughing.
She thought that was great, by the way.
It was funny.
Yeah.
She's a troublemaker. Just so
all of her best moments involve some kind of jab at Caleb.
Oh, well, see, that's what she's like, I can't go on there. Everybody will say I'm being mean to you. And I'm like, they'll love it. They would love it. You need to do it. And she's like, no, they'll think I'm mean. I said, nope, they will love it. Love it. Love it.
Well, and you don't want to, just from my perspective, like when we were first getting started, she's like, I'm afraid you two, both y'all are just going to be too nice. You're not. I'm like, well, it's hard to try to figure out how to be the guy that makes a jab say at Caleb, when he's the super nice guy. And it's like, you don't want to be the guy that's picking on the guy that's really nice. And so we're both kind of like, somebody's got to take this role on. Somebody's got to make a comment,
So Chris didn't care. He'd just pick on me. And it's like, okay, whatever. So I have a few questions before we leave.
Okay.
And these are for Will. So these are super important questions. You have to answer these correctly.
All right.
What is your favorite single YouTube channel, not including podcasts?
Oh, well, that would be the Old Paths.
There you go. That is the right answer. Sorry, Josh.
Just keep
You should get used to this eventually. The pain will ease. It'll wear off. That was set up like I was fishing, but I appreciate it.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Now, number 2. I'll lock him out while he's down there. Just
I have the same privileges, brother.
All right. So now that we got that question out of the way, what is your favorite podcast style channel?
Oh, that would be Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast.
There you go. See, that was the answers.
I'll take it.
That was the answers to both questions. All right. That was it.
Oh,
Easy questions.
Oh, man.
If you watch my show, you should know, because it's usually mentioned at least every other episode.
I appreciate every mention.
Really
I tell Tanya this all the time, and I mean it 100%. And it's not a knock against anybody at all. I said, but this is how I feel about the YouTube community and the way things happen. I said, I would rather have the organic friendships and the organic mentions when people talk about you than to go beg, and I won't throw names out there, but to go beg somebody with 50,000 people, hey, would you just throw my name out there? I'd rather have, a channel with 100 viewers or 50 viewers or 500 viewers or whatever that wants to be affiliated with me, that is a friend of mine, mention me, then I'm not going to get mad if a big channel mentions me. I'm not saying that, but I love the organic growth, because the organic growth is what's going to stay.
Yep.
That's 5 years down the road. Who knows? Lord willing, the channel may have 10,000 viewers, or I don't know. And that's whatever happens. But any influence I have over anybody, I want it to be used right. And I want it to be that kind of organic build, because you could go ask somebody that's got 100,000 subscribers, and maybe they'll name drop you. Maybe they'll get you 1,000 subscribers. All those subscribers, if they don't like what they see, are either going to leave or never watch again.
Yep.
So not that I don't appreciate it, but I love when it's organic and when it's real, like just real straight, good. And I appreciate every time you guys mention it.
I was telling that exact same thing to, if you reselling with Woody.
Yeah.
I was talking to him the other day, and I said, I may only have 100, 125 subscribers, but those people that do watch are going to know who I watch and who I respect and who I, because those are the people I talk about. Those are the people that, they help me. If I shoot them a message, they got an answer for me, or try to.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I watch. So why wouldn't I recommend them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I told Tanya that same thing the other day. I said, I understand somebody with like a huge following not being able to answer every question that comes their way or every email. I said, but I like being able, like if I have the knowledge about something and somebody says, hey, what do you do in this situation? It may be Joe Blow that I've never spoke to, that I don't even know who they are. I'm going to try my best to answer them. It may not happen in 5 minutes. It may be an hour or 2 hours. You can give me the time to figure it out. But I'm going to try my best to give you some sort of an answer. you know, and I get it. If you got 50,000 subs, you may or may not be able to do that because, you know, you have a life too and things to do. But I mean, that to me is like, I don't take it lightly that people have invested in us, their time. And if they hit that subscribe button, they didn't do it on accident. I can promise you that. They thought enough of you to say, I would like to possibly see this again in the future. So I take that as like a very humbling thing. And I just do the best I know how to do with it. You know, that's all I can do.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it. I don't, I know you're wanting to get off here, but I don't talk about my health and what all going on with me because I don't want my channel to be about that.
Right.
I don't want people to tune in because they feel bad for me or they're, you know, for this or that. I want them to tune in because they're interested in reselling and they like me and they like what I'm doing. And, you know, that I don't want it to be about that other stuff.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it interferes with my channel, but I don't want it to be about my channel, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree. I mean, it's kind of like my situation. I mean, I think it's important that I think part of being real is to give at least enough so that people kind of know where you're coming from, why you're doing what you're doing, how you got there, that kind of thing. But, you know, like I said, it's about reselling. So, you know, it's not to dwell on all the other things all the time. You got to, if you're going to build a reselling audience, you got to do reselling content, you know.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I can do a different channel and I've got some other things that I tinker with from time to time. But, you know, there's a place for that stuff too, you know. And
come watch because you want to have fun and and see what I sold this week.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep, I agree.
Absolutely. All right. Any final words, guys?
I don't think so.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Well, hope everybody had a great Easter.
Absolutely.
It's good here.
Absolutely. Same here. Well, Will, thank you for being with us, man.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it very much.
You answered the questions right, so you are welcome back again.
Oh, well, anytime.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here, guys. One last time, go check out Will. Go subscribe to him.
Please do.
Subscribe.
Go. Yeah, absolutely. Until next time, this has been the 3 old guys, and we are out. See you guys.
Take care.